guys to Geeks and Sports. We are here today to talk about the geeky side of things, and I brought in my main man. We call him Ginger Jesus, which actually most of us call him just Ryan. And today we're going to talk about something that a lot of us hate to say we watch and deny it profusely, but we kind of, it's that hidden secret. Like, I really like Twilight, but I'm not going to say I like Twilight. Okay, maybe not that bad, but you know, close enough. Wrestling. We're gonna talk about wrestling, guys. A million of us say we don't watch it, but then they have like 4.3 million people watch it every Monday night. But everybody with a set of testicles will claim up and down that they never watch it and they have no idea what it is. Yet each one of them knows what this is and can do, you know, the people's elbow. So, you know, in reality, it's a dirty secret, but we all watch it. So I brought in the wrestling guru. This guy pretty much knows everything and anything to do with wrestling. So that's it, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.
So we're gonna start off today with the Giant, I would say, and I'm not talking about Mr. Paul White, aka Big Show. Actually, we're gonna talk about WWE, which is the Giant, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So first thing we're going to talk about is kind of how do you see the maturation of, let me pick a guy, you know what, screw it. How do you see WWE where it's going in a whole?
Wow.
It's a big one.
Well, I really think that this is a really great time for WWE right now. Honestly, there was a good, I don't know, let's see, it's about a good 9-year period where I didn't watch WWE just because it was way too formulaic. I didn't care anymore. It was just awful to me. Like, there was just nothing that was really pulling me back in.
I agree.
But here lately, with a lot of the influx of new talent that's come in, you know, pushing the smaller guys to the top that can legitimately wrestle, I really think it's going to be a really good time going forward, at least within the next 5 years.
Well, actually, going into some of those guys that you're talking about now, and because I know you, one of them, Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn, I actually didn't know who the guy was. He would watch him in was it Ring of Honor?
Ring of Honor, I watched him in PWG. He's done some stuff in New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah.
That stuff. This guy, I finally got to see him on NXT, and him and old Neville.
Adrian Neville.
Adrian Neville. Those guys, the things they do in the ring are ridiculous. They're insane. It's funny that those guys are up and comers and barely making it and struggling, I'm sure, paycheck to paycheck. And guys like Cena, no offense to any Cena fans, that has a moveset of 7 is making millions and millions of dollars in the face. I mean, I just don't understand that. He couldn't pull off 10% of those two guys' movesets, and yet he makes, you know, 20 times their salary. I mean, it's to me that's another thing that dates back to Vince McMahon and his way of, you know, the big, strong, muscular guy, big and dumb, and pays him a shit ton of money. But
well, dude, McMahon loves the 5 moves a day.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
And Cena's making them way too much money. And I'm going to have to go on a little tiny tangent about Cena here. I respect Cena as a person. He's an amazing humanitarian. He does wonderful things
for Make-A-Wish.
For Make-A-Wish. And, you know, he's got an amazing work ethic. That's all fine and dandy. But I'm just so tired, and I know tons of people will agree with me. I'm so tired of having it shoved down my throat.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Just please, I know it'll never happen, ever, but please turn heel.
Yeah, this is true. Hogan did it a few times now, but it took him forever. But he finally said his prayers and invited his brother, and then he went into, you know, the NWO and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's funny when he came out against what was it, The Rock, and he came back to the Thugonomics and came out to his old song. People actually started cheering him again. It was like, oh my gosh, like this is the Cena he's a heel, but we actually liked him. And now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel the exact same way. I feel like they shove Cena down your throat. Like, even in this last Monday Night Raw episode, where Heyman tries to put him over by doing his song and saying the hero's going to come out and all this kind of stuff. I mean, the little kids, he even tapered it down where it said, the little kids, let's go Cena. He had to make sure he said the little kids because there's nobody else really in that audience that is saying, let's go Cena. I mean, let's be real. There just isn't.
And going back to SummerSlam, just watching the main event between Lesnar and Cena, and I was laughing hysterically the entire time. Not just because he was just squashing Cena, but this might make me slightly a bad person, but oh well. Just the entire time that Cena is getting decimated, you hear the one child who's obviously next to the hard camera, just one child chanting, "Let's go Cena," over and over again, and then just starting to get drowned out.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. And it's not. This isn't like a Cena bashing thing. It's just, once you watch NXT and you see what these other guys can do, and not even in NXT. I mean, some of the things that Daniel Bryan does, some of the things that other wrestlers do. That, as this guy has said, they've scaled down Daniel Bryan's moveset a bunch because of the fact that they're just too scared. The liability cost of him getting himself hurt, which I guess kind of happened anyway. But it's just. Once you've seen that talent and seen what they're able to do, and then you go back to what you've normally been force-fed, you start to realize, like, hey, there's so much more out there. There's so many better actual wrestlers out there. And before anybody gets it, blown out of proportion, we do realize it's not real. We do realize it's fake and it's staged. But I'll tell you this. When you're coming off a 12-foot ladder, I don't care how many times that particle board in that table was sliced and cut and whatever, and you're smashing through another human being or just hitting the concrete cement with a padding this thick, it's gonna hurt. I mean, that's why you see people blowing out ACLs and rupturing discs in their neck and all. It's a violent sport. It's a violent sport, and it is what it is. And be it fake, be it staged, there are just some people that put on a better show. Dolph Ziggler puts on a great show. To me, and when he gets whatever it is done to him, the man puts on a fantastic show. He's athletic. He's got some charisma. I mean, to me, he's a better talent than a lot of people. A lot of wrestlers that are being pushed right now. But
oh yeah, like right now on the main roster, there is no single person that can sell better than Dolph Ziggler.
I agree.
Like it is just amazing what he'll go through to put anybody else over. And now finally he's got the IC title again, and it'll work this time. And I'm hoping he gets a better push. And please.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that anybody else. Maybe Ambrose.
Yeah.
It is getting up there, but right now there's nobody else who can sell better than him.
Yeah, and Ambrose is actually, for those who don't know, he's actually doing a movie right now.
Yeah.
So
that will finish up the day of Night of Champions.
And then hopefully we'll.
He's slated to appear on the Raw after Night of Champions, but there's always hope.
Yeah, right. All right, so now we're gonna cut away. We tapped in a little bit about NXT. Of course, we tackled a little bit of the Giant, although it went into kind of a Cena sucks kind of thing. But the next big one, in my opinion, at least for us in the U.S. is TNA. So I'm hearing there's not so many good things happening with TNA right now as far as their stability. So what do you know on TNA and where things are going right now?
It's really paining me because I have watched TNA again finally for over about 3 years now, and I started to enjoy it again. They've got all the talent in the world. Like, obviously they don't have the NXT guys, but you know, they're getting up there. They've started bringing some new people in. The people they've already signed previously, they've got the talent to make it. It's just management's not really following behind that. And then, you know, with the issues with the TV deal, you know, negotiations still haven't been met. I mean, yeah, TNA does have a little backdoor out in case Spike doesn't go through, but I don't really have much confidence in it anymore. And like with Bully Ray and Devon's contracts already up, and they're working a by night deals until they can maybe work something out. Like that's, and they're supposed to be inducted to the Hall of Fame at Battle for Glory. I don't really see this going so well. I mean, granted, the New York shows and the Bethlehem shows have been some of the best that they've had in well over a year.
I agree.
I still don't know if that's going to be enough to save them, especially when they just made the jump to the new time slot on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, already that's seriously cutting into the ratings.
Right.
And it's...
Well, the reason, I mean, personally, I mean, I don't know, but the reason I think they did it is, to me, obviously they couldn't take Monday because, you know, it's dominated.
Yeah, they'll never make that mistake again.
And then Friday, you know, I mean, I'm not a huge SmackDown fan, but I do watch it, so I DVR it, put it that way, and I'll watch it later. But, you know, you've got that. And then Thursday, I think they were competing with NXT, so kind of, I mean, maybe not. Because
there was a lot of talk that SmackDown might move back to Thursdays. And then, you know, they're competing with football season right now.
That's
a little bit too much to handle. So, I mean, they moved to Wednesday. I mean, it doesn't stop me from watching it.
Right.
I mean, for the casual fan that's not going to really pick up on that, they need to promote it more, which they're barely doing.
Which, starting in October, they'll have to compete with, not that maybe they're the same realm of viewer, but, you know, Flash, which this will be another topic, but Flash and Arrow will come out, and they'll be on Wednesday. Are they both on Wednesday?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday, okay. So, they'll compete with one of the shows on Wednesday. But, I mean, like I said, it might not be the same viewer watching both of them. But the thing that I've liked that TNA has done is they brought back the X Division. And to me, with bringing back, you know, Homicide and bringing back,
Low Key.
Yeah, Low Key, especially those two guys. You know, and, you know, DJ Ion, maybe he is what he is, but to me, he's a decent performer. And
well, DJZ, amazingly entertaining. If they gave him, you know, room to move, you know, he's got an amazing moveset, and like he's got the tools. And you've got, you know, Homicide's back, which I love.
right.
You know, Low Key's back, which I've been waiting for the day that he finally returns to the States, and now he's on TNA, so it's all right. And then Joe's holding the title again. He's bringing that legitimacy back to the title. They're starting to showcase it more, which that's what they really need to do. I mean, they've got the tag division right now, even though, you know, temporary deals, but still. I mean, they've got plenty of people that they can fill that tag division. I mean, even if the Hardy Boys thing is just a temporary thing, you can put Jeff Hardy back into Willow, even though a lot of people don't like that gimmick. I kind of find it entertaining. It's a nice change of pace.
Right.
Like, they were starting to do this Willow and Abyss thing. That would have been a great team. You've got Bram and Magnus, the entire set of bromance, the menagerie. Make them do something.
Right.
And you know, with the Wolves in there, I mean,
The Wolves, I think, was a great signing.
Oh,
yeah.
I was so excited when they signed the Wolves, because I go from maybe seeing the Wolves once a month when I can catch it, and on Ring of Honor's iPay-per-views, and now I get to see them every week, and that's fantastic. I mean, yes, being that they're teamed up, the movesets have kind of shrunk a little bit, but I think if you can finally get them over to a singles competition, we'll see a lot better stuff from them.
So I want to get back to NXT, since we kind of touched on it, but not really a whole bunch. So going back there, I want to see what are some of the guys that are coming up right now that you're really looking at. And once you're done with that, I actually have a question that I want to pose to you. Probably about two questions. But first off, who do you think's going to be the next big thing or the next big things?
Wow. Well, I mean, they're kind of setting up Tyler Breeze to get a bit of a push here. I mean, I know he did have that spot for the title and didn't do so well, but I mean, he's got the talent in the ring, minus that finisher. Not too keen on that. I mean, it's just a kick, and not a very good one.
I agree.
But otherwise, I mean, everything else he's got what it takes in the ring. He's got charisma. His promos have been spot on as of late. So I really think that they're going to try to push him a little bit more. I mean, you've got Kenta that just came in under the new name Hideo Itami. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a huge push there, and if they don't, they're stupid. I mean, he is such like one of the biggest names to ever come out of Japan in pro wrestling, and he's been doing it for 14 years already.
Oh wow!
I mean, he's got the tools long before this, and they just signed Kevin Steen recently, Prince Devitt, which I'm so hoping that they come up soon. I mean, they've already, fast-tracked Kenta out there. They need to do it with Steen and Devitt because they've put in just the same amount of work, and they are immediately, I guarantee it, NXT stars, and they will not take long to move up. And I'm hoping that Kevin Steen can still use the package pile driver, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. And like Kalisto, who was Samurai del Sol on the indie circuit, everything he does is fantastic. And him just winning the tag titles with Hunico as Sin Cara and against the Ascension, which can't say I completely agree with that choice, but it is what it is. It's still, they've done some amazing work so far. Really think they're going to work well together, and I mean, we'll have to see going forward.
So how do you feel about a possible Neville heel change?
The Neville Sami Zayn program that looks like they're setting up right there after Arrival. I'm so excited.
Oh yeah.
Because
oh yeah.
The first match that he had as champion, he gave a shot to Sami Zayn. And that match alone was fantastic. Put them in a full program together, there's no telling what they can do. And I am ridiculously intrigued to see what a heel Neville is going to be like.
Now, you've watched him longer than I have. Has he been a heel before? Or is this like a kind of one of those first-time changes? Or that you know of, at least?
Can't really say that I know of for certain. I mean, I've seen a lot of his matches over the years.
Right.
But I haven't really seen much of any sort of programs that he's been in. I mean,
Okay.
there's always a possibility. We never say never
Right.
in this business, but I'm definitely excited to see what he's going to do as a heel on the main stage.
I agree. So, going to the questions that I had for you, the main one is just more of an opinion, and my opinion is I would love to see Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler together. I'm a huge Ziggler fan. Breeze seems like he's kind of up that alley. I don't really like Ziggler as a heel. That's just me. But, I mean, he works well as a heel. Don't get me wrong. But, it's that quintessential little guy, little boy in me that likes to cheer for the good guys. So,
Well, I mean, actually, what I've been hearing so far, what's going on is with Ziggler feuding with the Miz right now.
Right.
And Miz is doing that entourage gimmick with him and Sandow, which
Right.
obviously I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the Miz.
I agree.
But Sandow is making that gimmick for me right now. Him as the stunt double is fantastic. But no, there's some talk that it's a possibility that Breeze is going to get brought up to the main roster to be part of that entourage gimmick with the Miz, because they have similar gimmicks right now. And with how good Breeze is seeming in the ring, you team him with the Miz. I mean, I'm not really going to give much credit to the Miz, but I think it really worked really well.
Yeah. Because he's feuding with Dolph right now, that it goes completely against what I would like to see. But I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense, and that's what I love that you bring to this show or any other thing that you talk about or bring. it's the fact that you're pretty spot on with the things that you say. This guy, if somebody out there writes wrestling shows, get this guy a job, because I think he's better than some of the writers out there right now. But anyway, that's beside the point. So the second thing I had going right now is, do you think it's true, or the second thing I was going to talk about actually, do you think it's true that the reason the Ascension lost the belts was because supposedly they were going to come up to the main roster and they were going to be the first ones to defeat the Usos for those belts? So they had to basically put over another tag team so that they could leave. And now I know, was it the Wyatts that didn't do that? They left on top, didn't they? I think it was the Wyatts that left on top. If it wasn't, we'll cut this shit out. But anyway. So do you think that may be WWE's plan, is to put over a new tag team so that they can rise the Ascension?
Well, honestly, I really wasn't too happy with how that tag match went down at a takeover. It was a great match, don't get me wrong, and I do love that Lucha Dragons are the tag champs right now. They're doing some
Lucha. Sorry. I'm Mexican, I had to.
But no, I was a little kind of thrown off because I think that they built the Ascension so well that they needed to remain untouchable.
I agree. They were dominant. They built them to be indestructible. It was like,
I thought that they needed to go out nothing less than on top, and it would work fine. Now, as far as them going into the main roster to take the titles from the Usos, I'm not sure. I mean, it definitely looks like they're primed and ready to start going to the main roster. That's fine. I'm just not so sure I can agree with that. I mean, yes, a feud with the Usos would be great. I don't think they need to take them immediately.
right.
That just wouldn't sit right with me. Like when Paige came to the main roster, her first night she wins the Divas Championship. She does deserve it. She puts in all the work. She's a fantastic wrestler. I've watched her for years. You know, her feud with her own mother was fantastic on the Indies. And but it was just way too soon, and it really kind of killed the steam there. With the Ascension, I don't think you need to do that, because I mean, look at the stuff they've got going on right now. You've got Goldust and Stardust.
That's great.
Just becoming heels, and
Yes.
I'm sorry, I love them as a team.
Yes.
Them starting to go heels is great. I love the Stardust character, and with them being heels, it kind of affords them the opportunity to be just that little bit weirder in the ring.
I agree.
And I mean, then you've got the Wyatt family, which, not gonna lie, I was a little bit upset when they didn't win the tag titles. But also kind of a little bit curious as to why they're kind of, dropping the ball on the Wyatts right now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've got Bray Wyatt that was having this feud with Chris Jericho, which they've apparently cut that short.
Right.
And he's not even on the card for Night of Champions, which I'm kind of offended. Because out of all the guys that's on the main roster right now, Wyatt is one of my top.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And
it's great.
then with Harper and Rowan, they're nowhere to be seen right now. I mean, they had that weird little side program with Big Show and Mark Henry, and now Mark Henry's off facing Rusev, and
Rusev Crush.
And it just doesn't, like, I'm really thinking they're dropping the ball on this.
I agree. But seeing some Alana is not ever bad. I'm sorry, wife. I'll cut that out. Anyway. No, I completely agree. I completely agree. I think Bray Wyatt, for a 300-pound man, the way he moves in the ring, the things that he can do in the ring, it's you get those rare talents where they're really good on the mic, and then they're horrible in the ring, or they're great in the ring but they have no mic skills. And this guy has them both. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's. And I guess that's my biggest gripe with WWE, and that's a lot of fans' biggest gripes, is that sometimes they have great talent, and they don't push them. And, and then they have these guys that have a 7-move moveset, and they're on top of the world, and it leaves you scratching your head like, what the heck just happened? Whose bright idea was it to make this guy whose bright idea was it to bring back Batista and try to have him win the Royal Rumble and move him up? I mean, there's certain things that you shouldn't replicate, you shouldn't duplicate. It wasn't that great in the beginning. Bringing him back, whether it's him or other guys, it just sometimes doesn't work out, and it leaves guys like you and me who have been fans for 20 plus years wondering, these guys that have all this talent and charisma and the ability to go, and they don't get the pushes that some of these other guys get. And I mean, I'm sure it's politics and everything else, but it's unfortunate.
With Bryan Danielson being out right now, I'm sorry, can't call him Daniel Bryan. It just doesn't work for me. With him being out right now, that's really leaving a void right now, and obviously they're going to bring up Reigns, to be the next big thing.
Right.
I'm really hoping they make the smart decision and not have Lesnar lose whatsoever. I mean, for the title or not, he cannot lose clean until hopefully, I mean, in a perfect world where I'm booking this shit, Reigns would win the Royal Rumble. If it was up to me, he'd beat his own record that he set at the Royal Rumble to win it and go on to WrestleMania to face Lesnar.
I agree.
I mean,
I'd love that match.
Who knows how that's going to work, but just saying, if it was me, that's how I'd play it out.
And I think we were talking about it that one of the upper management guys wanted to do a Brock versus Rock type thing, and 2 part-time guys. I just don't. I mean, look at Lesnar. He wins the title, and he didn't come back to Raw for like 3 weeks. I mean, it was ridiculous. So
I mean, the part-timers can work. Like with Lesnar holding the title, I mean, it's okay. I'm not so upset about that because they've booked him correctly. I mean, if it was The Rock, I would really start to hate it. But with Lesnar, yeah, it's a little bit weird not having the champ there all the time. But when you had Brock beat the streak, you set him up to have nuclear heat for the rest of his career.
It's true.
Like, there is no way in hell that he'll ever be a face again. I mean, then again, McMahon pulls some weird shenanigans. But when you build him to have such nuclear heat, he should not lose clean to anyone until you're ready to pull the trigger on something.
Alright guys, I want to say thanks a bunch for checking out this video and enjoying Geeks and Sports with Ginger Jesus, aka Ryan, or vice versa, Ryan, aka Ginger Jesus. But anyway, I want to really say thank you for tuning in, and this is the first edition of the geeky side of Geeks and Sports, and we'll have plenty more coming. This is round 1. I'm sure you'll see this face a lot more. But anyway, man, I just want to say thanks for the time.
Oh yeah, man.
And I appreciate it. And yeah, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, please. And we'll put out some more content. And if there's anything I could have done better, we could have done better, just definitely leave a comment below. Let us know. And hope you enjoyed, guys. Thanks a lot.